Sorry, down the bottom, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I've got that.
and
Well,
then you just select. I don't know if you're working off one or two screens, but if you're just working off the one, just select entire screen. The one in there, perfect. All right,
how's that looking?
good. Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, we were
Awesome.
looking just then. We're like, oh, there you are. You're still there. So
Yeah,
that's all
that's
right.
right.
We trust you, so no worries.
No, that's right. Well, I often, for this very reason, I let others take me off.
Yeah,
So yeah, and often it's funny, and often I'll have people like 6 months down the track saying, "Oh, I can see you've got full control and I don't have access," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's because you've never set up two-factor authorization, whereas I have got two-factor, right?" So again, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, I'll set that up." So anyway,
yeah,
all good. So yeah, and so then what I was looking at, so that's good. Yeah, that's the same view that I had, and it's the same business. So that's kind of what I'm wanting to check. So you know where to find the pixel in the first place, right? So in terms of if you go up the top,
yeah,
um, and then you
yeah.
hit those three bars, yeah, and then you go to your events manager on the right hand side. Sorry, top right.
Oh,
Yeah, there, that's it.
oh, is that one okay?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then you
that's
don't have to.
close.
You just close that. Yeah, and then if you click on the hyperlink where it says 2021 Awards Australia, that's then showing sort of that pixel is recording information. So just close that. So yeah. So essentially, what that's saying at the moment is that how many people coming through that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So it's working. I guess was the first thing that I wasn't sure. So that's what I just had a look at. But so yeah,
awesome.
is what were you? But the thing that I noticed that clearly you're no longer running off. Well, it would appear that you're not running off the same ad account nowadays. So that was the thing that. So if you go, oh yeah. So anyway, maybe I'll step back for a second. Tell me what the issue that you actually have. Yeah.
Yeah, well, basically, we want to run some new ads on Facebook, but to a different form on our website through WordPress, which is a referral form. So I know that this 2021 Awards Australia um, pixel is live and active, but we wanted to create a new one, and I can actually create a new one, and I wasn't sure if it was because I noticed that the Jeff Griffin account also doesn't have full access
Yeah,
to
that that
managing
could have been the same reason as what I
that.
just said, is often because they
Yeah,
don't set up dual factor.
That
But
example
others
thinking.
should. So it looks like others, like Josh, for instance, should. So, um, okay, so let's on that basis. So you want to create a new pixel, but what I was going to ask you. So have you just not been running ads, or because you've just not run any ads,
We
right?
don't
So
haven't
you,
been running anything
yeah, yeah.
since
So for a
yeah
long
since
time, yeah.
we worked with you. Basically, we
Okay,
were
yeah. So I was just double checking. So a few things that you might want to do, um, but just as far as stepping through um, for yourself. So firstly, just go back a step. So in up the top left, sorry, you just go. Sorry, just go your arrow back one page.
like,
Yeah. And what I'd suggest you do, even if you just copy and paste on a Word form. So here, so this is your Pixel link URL. So, just copy that URL up the top and paste it, or even place it in an email or something like that, just so you've kind of
yeah.
got the step through.
I'm just
Um,
opening a Word doc now. So this URL here.
yeah. So just copy that. And then clearly this is where, so your events manager, this is where you
Yeah,
come into. Um, now, yep. And so you've pasted that URL.
yeah. So I pasted that. Yep,
Yep. So then in the next thing you're going to do on the left-hand side, there's a green plus. So click on the green plus there and
yep,
go connect data sources. Yeah.
yep.
And then, yeah,
that was the issue. I couldn't connect it up like my email
okay.
said.
I wonder why that's overlaid. So it's only allowing you to do app. And like you said, I wonder whether let me just see if I have the same issue at my end. I could share my screen if you like,
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
you know
I
what's
mean,
going on. But let me see if that's because of what it's connected to, or because normally it's actually it's hard not to duplicate because you go and think you've saved it and then it double saves it. So I'll just share my screen as well. We can actually share at the same time, so it's not
Oh,
an
really?
issue. Yeah, so that's okay.
Handy.
Yeah. Right. So I'll do the same thing. I get the same thing.
I wasn't sure if it was because I read somewhere on a blog post that you can only have like one pixel or something, maybe on our Facebook business account potentially. So that was mine initially
Yeah, it's
on the
but
side delete it
it's
so we could actually have another one.
as I said, that's not my normal. That's not what I would normally expect to be the case.
Yeah.
Um, the the work. So when you're going to run an ad, right? The workaround is if I oh sorry, I'm looking at the screen and I'm thinking I'm sharing, but I'm not sharing, right? So I actually had exactly the same thing as
Yeah.
what you had, right? Um, so when I went to connect I get that same. I can only connect an app.
You do have two other options. You've got CRM and messaging. We didn't even have
Oh
that.
yeah, well that's right. So, but what I'm thinking, if you're running, so the fact is this is working, right? So
Yeah.
the reality would be if I go back to your project, so um, in your so I can give you the pixel that you could put on, and you could just copy that pixel for whoever's doing that landing page or whatever it is, that form that then would be going in. It would just be putting that code behind it as well. So your pixel will be here, I reckon. And the reason I go here is because trying to find it in the settings is often tough. Actually, I say it should be here, but where is it here? Pixel. Here we go. We're talking about Pixel. All right. Still talking about Pixel. I've renamed the Pixel. Here we go. So this is your Pixel code, right?
Yeah.
It's this here, which, if you like, I can just I'll paste this into if you go. Well, you're already in it. If you go, I'll just go into the chat and just copy and paste it exactly how it is. Yeah, so put that into that Word doc as well.
Yeah.
And my suggestion to you, because I don't realistically, other than creating the pixels, I don't then put it on websites or that sort of stuff. That's the web dev type people. So it's then a matter of using this pixel code. So that this, whatever it is, how many lines? About 14, 15 lines of code. That whether it's a website or whatever landing page, you just tell your web person, I want this code put behind the website, please.
And so that means, I'm getting this right, that the current pixel that you set up for us would actually, we wouldn't need a new one. It would just be
It's
now
just going to
behind
record. It doesn't
pixels.
matter where it's taken because a pixel records across all the pages that it's behind. So when you put it behind a website, it's recording the fact that people might go through 7, or your website, like your website, probably has, I don't know, 20 plus pages, right? But
Yeah.
it's recording flares, and those flares are the number of pages I'm visiting.
Yeah.
So if you're creating another one that's got a form, then that form will basically, it would be the same. It would be recording that it's going to that form. Slightly different, and the data, I'm sure you probably can peel it. I'm usually just looking at, okay, is it working? Is it going? Are we getting people going through to the website, right?
Yeah.
So there's 4.6K, which suggests, that's a lot of people going through the website. That's 28 days, right? So that's quite a lot of, that's a substantial amount of people going through that website, or anything that it's associated with. You used to be able to drill down in terms of exact pages, but nowadays it really, there's probably ways, but as I said, I just don't know it. Realistically, it's more than what we normally. And the reason we kind of, it's good from my end is because it should then marry up to some degree to what you get when you're looking at a Google Analytics, right?
Yeah.
So which is website related. So then, and similarly, if you're creating any forms, you should know, if you're pushing an ad, for instance, to a particular form, then essentially let's say that all of a sudden you start advertising and that form is 400 visits in the last, well, that should then on that form with your analytics should be relatively close to matching up, right, in terms
Yeah.
of how many people are visiting that form side of things. But I would say that's the as far as from my end, the easiest workaround in terms of what you're wanting to do at the moment. If you're creating the ad, I would create it from here where you probably want to add uh, Demi on Demi was it
Jimmy.
on here
Yeah.
as well. That's the so I don't know if in terms of in the business settings, um, whoever's creating it. So at the moment, the only people that are added onto here are people. So in terms of the rest of the account,
The way Jenny's doing it, she's logging in as like Jeff essentially.
yeah,
Jeff's a bit of a dummy user, and then
yeah.
doing it all.
So as I said, maybe with Jeff, I would just make sure you set up this two-factor authorization because ultimately
Yeah,
he is probably seen as the highest. It's ultimately set up against him, right?
yeah, you're right.
Um, I don't know if that's got anything to do with why we can't add the web. Maybe, maybe not. But the reality is, yeah. So anybody that you can see at the moment, even with yourself, were you on that?
Yeah, I'm there as partial access.
So this is saying this doesn't have pixel creation disabled and has been replaced with dataset. Oh, okay, yeah, dataset creation. That's right. So it's actually just a different way of wording it. So this is sitting in here basically. That's where we were before, and you're sitting on there, Josh. So realistically, using you've got access to pretty much basically everything. So um,
Oh,
yep.
except I had, if you click down, it said user bench dataset was not ticked.
Oh yeah, no, it's just is on. So
Oh, okay, sorry,
yeah.
sorry,
So
sorry.
it's and you got full control. Oh, that's Jeff. Sorry, hang on. Let me double check. Josh. Yeah, same. Yeah. So we've all got the same basically
Yeah.
around that. Um,
All right,
yeah.
so we set up the two factor, and then
So yeah, as I said, um, I'm slightly at a loss. I give you the what I did because I wasn't sure. So there is some learnings around here, um, around how there's a couple of things, right? So well, hang on. If you go into Meta itself, it actually talks about pixels and
yeah,
getting them set up right, that sort of thing. But as I said, at the moment, I'll just put that in the chat as well for you. But
thank you, Steve.
realistically, that if you're just starting up and you kind of know that you want it to be measured and that it's tracking, at least if you if you um, if you go use that current code, then you know that it's set up. Why you can't set it up against another website, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. That's unusual. I've not noticed that before. As I said, often it's you inadvertently create more than one. I've been in sessions where we've gone and we've thought it's not refreshed, and then all of a sudden we've created 3 pixels. But yeah, so um, and then there is an element if you the way you get to, I don't know if you'll have the same, but if you find that you can't, that you've got an issue, then if you push on this help, there is on this right, so the bottom help here,
Mhm.
you've got a contact support team basically. So clearly, well, what did that just do? Yeah, I might have clicked the wrong one there. Hang on, but yeah, so there is a contact support team. Not all
Yeah,
my clients necessarily get that. I think sometimes because I've got, I guess I've been more active across a lot more accounts, but it should be an option. Is that question down the bottom from a left? But at the moment, um,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So when you're in Business Manager, if you go down to that help button, you basically then it asks you what issues you're having. You'd say you're having an issue with the pixel and creating a new pixel, um, and then you'll hopefully get to chat. if they can't immediately solve the issue, they basically then move it to an email type. And sometimes I'll just pick up the phone. It just depends on the nature of the issue. But if it is just creating a new pixel, often, it might be, I don't know, as I said, it might be something as simple as dual factor. It could be, I'm not sure what else. But anyway, sometimes with creating an additional, you wouldn't think that's a major issue. It's not like getting access to something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, yeah. So does that help? I think that's probably,
Well, it definitely helps because we can just use that existing pixel, so at least it's a short-term
yeah.
workaround, and while we try to figure out how to start, create new ones as well. So
I think that's it. I mean, because as I said, I mean that's a pretty good that pixel. I'd be if I was you, I'd be pretty happy with. I don't remember what numbers were coming through when we were advertising, but that seems like a high number for a business
yeah,
that's not been advertising. So clearly, you're
yeah,
probably doing other things. And the other thing is to take into account the pixel is all of the. It's a collation of whether you're doing email marketing, Google, whatever it is, it's just measuring how many flares are going through that website. So
yeah.
it's as clearly if businesses aren't doing anything else and they're only doing Facebook advertising, then we expect it to be then we expect it to be impacted. We want to see more flares going through the website, but with you, clearly you're already getting a healthy number.
Yeah,
Um,
we've had our events on and things
yeah,
like that. So
yes, and you're quite engaged and that sort of thing. So yeah,
yeah, well, thanks for that, Steve.
no
Appreciate your
worries.
help.
All good. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that. Hopefully, as you said, it's a workaround. Probably for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating that it wasn't an easy fix, but also you've given us some really good pointers and helped us with the pixel
Yeah.
codes. That's also very positive. So
All, all good. No worries. Well, at least you know as well. You were going through the right part. It's just unusual to sort of see it where And so when you're actually creating the ad too, you just know you click on. So so long as you created it within that business setting, you just make sure you click on the pixel. It should be automatically there when you're creating any ad as well. Yep.
you can move forward now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
All
so,
right.
so you know when it. So, yeah. If you haven't, so I find in my experience, it's working with clients. It's best to create the post that you wish to advertise first, and then if I go into here, just so I'll just show you this quickly. If you haven't, because you haven't done one for a while, so but as I said, a lot of agencies just create the ad inside here, right? So they immediately go. So we go to ads manager, and again, I can put this pic. So from a step through, if you're wanting to create, and so I always look at it from a table view. So that way you can see all the ones that have been done previously. But this, I'll just put again in here. So if you're creating an ad, create it as a post on Facebook first or Facebook, Instagram, depending on how a lot of people are doing Instagram to Facebook posts now. But my suggestion to you, so firstly you want to identify, so we're usually doing a combination of awareness and traffic, so and then we do awareness first and then we duplicate exactly the same ad and we do it for traffic as well, right? So that's the first thing. So let's just do that awareness for now. And then what I wanted to show you is just once you've created it in here, I won't create this and I will delete it, but well, firstly we want to make sure we select the right page. Although for me, it's probably a lot of stuff that I haven't gone through and done yet, right? So, but what I just wanted to show you is use existing post. For some reason, it's picking up on a different client, right? So, but essentially, if you go in, you use existing post and you go and select which post that you want to
Yeah.
promote, yeah. Rather than you can also create all sorts of ads in the ads manager, but the problem is it's just going through the ether. And so it's not as easy. So the reason we do awareness and traffic is because if you create the post first, put it on the site, you can pin that post if it's of importance. And then if anybody that's engaging with it, you can invite them to follow the page as well, right? So that's the advantage. Firstly, awareness, you're going to get thousands of people seeing it, but anybody that engages with it can also be invited to the page. You can then duplicate that post for traffic to get them to the form that you want them to go to. to actually complete that form. And so then you're getting the benefit of both high visibility, but then you're also you're duplicating it for traffic as well.
And so, what's the advantage of doing traffic versus leads? Because we're wanting to get people to be filling out our form.
Well, traffic, the thing is one's taking it too. So it's not a language I tend to use, but we enhance the lead process, but the lead generally, so in other words, that's exactly what we're doing. By doing a Facebook ad, you're trying to take them somewhere, whether it's a form, a website, whatever the case is. It's bringing somebody, the lead, the prospect, I'd rather call it, but anyway, and for them to make up their mind whether they then, it only becomes a lead technically if they do something on the form or the website, right? Well, it becomes a converted. Because we don't do capture and conversion, it's typically not in my language, but there's nothing different, is to your point, right? So and many cases, depending on what it is that we're promoting, we don't really care if they go to the website. Sometimes it's just a matter of them picking up the phone, or it could be emailing, or whatever the case. So sometimes it can convert immediately off the post itself. But in most occasions, depending on the service or the product, we want to send them somewhere else so they can find out more and make a decision. But capture and conversion happens on the website, not on the social in general. But there's no difference. So awareness is about getting eyeballs, as many as possible, on what it is, so that a portion of them, hopefully a healthy portion, will then decide to click on it and go through and learn more, or book, or whatever the case might be. But that in my as I said, that's how we typically do it, because now I'm just going to close and I'll delete.
So just quickly, can pixels, can they actually track conversions or not on our website, or is it only, like, can the pixel only pick up this traffic and how many visitors the referral page?
I can't quite hear you, but I think you were saying about conversion. If you do,
I'm just wondering if
So conversions is one of the options, I believe, that's given, right? So a conversion, maybe because I don't believe in hard social selling, I never do that. So I never use that as an advertising campaign. So the campaigns we use, there's 3 campaigns styles we'll use. We use awareness is the first one, because we know we get, for a minimal spend, we can get tens of thousands of eyeballs. Then we do traffic, is generally because people want somebody to go somewhere, and that's similar to what you're saying, but rather than Facebook conversion, because Facebook wants to keep you on Facebook, right? So Facebook often will provide you a Facebook lead form. But we don't want to stay on Facebook. We want to go to where all the rest of your information is generally. And then the other one is engagement. So sometimes it might be a video that you want people to watch. And again, if you get people engaged with that, it might be last year's awards ceremony or whatever, then you can get them and you can invite them to follow the page. So that's largely why we use engagement, because we never promote for likes nowadays. We generally just promote engagement, and we know that if they're engaged with it, then there's a good chance they'll like the page and follow us. And then we don't really have to, there's a portion of our post then that will get seen by them on an ongoing basis.
All right. And so I think, because it's hard for you to hear. So with the pixel, can we track, if we're sending them to a form?
Yeah. If the pixel's behind a form.
Click a button on the form?
So
we're not selling them, we're just wanting them to register, so they're nominating someone.
No. But if the pixel is behind an online form, that's exactly what. It should be measuring it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get our web guy to put it.
Yeah, but as I said, so the difficult for me is that I usually, you might remember, realistically, when we do create that pixel, we then send it to the web person to put it. So and then they go, yep, that's up there now. Because realistically, and I have a just a basic understanding of it. It's effectively the same way as you put the icons and the links, right? It tells you. In fact, I'm sure I could Google it, but essentially in a WordPress, it's like put your pixel here. Now, similarly in a landing page or some form of form, hopefully it has click here, put your pixel here, but it's at the back end, right? So you have to go behind that form and then add the pixel in there.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well, thank you. Appreciate your help.
No dramas at all.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Good to see you. Go well.
See you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.